What's up, guys? I'm here with Nick Shaw and Dan Stone. And actually, yesterday we had a showcase in Denver. The day before, we flew from Seattle, got here. We're still in Denver. Tomorrow we fly to where? Dallas for a big showcase. But Nick and I went to the gym this morning, and on the way home we were talking about something that was kind of funny to talk about, but it made a lot of sense. And then we were talking with Dan about it, and he had some great insight as well. So we wanted to talk about that today. So it's not really a question. We don't have a question to answer today, but we wanted to talk about this because I think it could help some guys who may be over analytical. And what we're talking about is how to be dumb on the baseball field, and how being dumb on the baseball field could possibly help you perform better. What were we talking about? How did this all start? You remember?
So I was thinking about when I used to play, I think I was in AA, playing with a guy named Orlando Arcia, who is the big league shortstop for the Brewers now, and how he just went up to the plate and how he carried himself in practice like he was careless. He didn't really have a whole lot going on. It came off to me, a guy who had to learn everything about the game to have a chance to succeed. It came off to me as being dumb. So I'm like, this guy, Arcia, played the game and he didn't seem like he had much going on, and he was kind of dumb out there. But he would just react to the ball and the things he hit and the plays he made in the field. He made it look so easy compared to a guy like me who overanalyzed everything, every tendency, every count, every hop I was about to get. You know, I would analyze everything, and I look over at shortstop and this guy's just flying off the hinges, making all these plays. So.
And you were saying like he would go 0 for 5 one day, and you were next to him in the locker?
Yeah, he would go 0 for 5. I was his locker mate, or whatever you want to call it. He was next to me. And he'd be over there dancing and playing his music. Here I am, I went 1 for 4, and I'm freaking out. Like, oh my average is going down. This guy went 0 for 5, he doesn't care.
So we were talking about that. We had a long conversation about that, and then we were telling Dan about it, and he started talking about this thing. What would tell us about the thing?
Focus bands. So it is a primarily golf company that partnered with FlightScope, and they are trying to, I guess, maybe integrate into baseball. What it is it is a headband that basically captures your thoughts through your brain process while you're hitting or while you're doing an activity. All right. So what it's doing is it's basically, when you're in the clear, you're green. When you're thinking about too much stuff, you're in the red. So what it is it's a headband that you put on, and when you're hitting, when you're in the green, they're starting to collect data on your average, your hits when you're green rather than when you're red, when you're thinking, overthinking, things like that. Kind of like when a batter's trying to call time and the umpire doesn't give it, and he's in that quick process of, all right, now I just got to swing, and he swings, and it's always a shot, right? Because he's not thinking no more. It's just a quick process. There's no thinking. He's just doing it.
Or vice versa, when the umpire makes a bad call or something, and then the next one, some guys will be the umpires in their dome.
Yeah, they're done.
You know, so they're all red. They would be red. The feedback they would get from the band would be red, and that could affect them. And it doesn't. You see it. I mean, I don't need a band to see that. You can see it in their body language and the way they're acting. So I don't know. I just thought it was something cool to talk about because if you know about this and have this insight, then maybe you can, if you are that guy who overanalyzes, maybe try to use this technique or tips or whatever, or maybe look for the band. Do they sell that?
Yeah, it's a company called Focus Bands. They are primarily a golf company, but you could still get it and connect the app and basically do your hitting process with the band on, and you get live feedback. So I believe it's focusbands.com. I could be wrong, but check it out.
I'll put it down in the description. You guys can check it out. One other thing we were talking about, I was talking with one of my friends who played in the major leagues for a little bit, Greg Burke, and we had a discussion one time about confidence at that level too. And I think this kind of might even play into confidence, like you were talking about going 0 for 5 and then still being able to go out there that next day and be super confident about yourself. So it's almost like being in the clear or being dumb or just not overthinking and having that full confidence. What was the other thing we were talking about? Like belonging.
Yes. So I told him an example of when I used to go over and play with the big league team during spring training, and how I would be tense and almost not want to go in the game sometimes, just because I went over there playing with guys like Ricky Weeks and Ryan Braun and these guys, and I almost felt like I didn't belong. But clearly, if they sent me over there, I did belong. But these guys, like Scooter Gennett went over one day, and he was confident as they get. Felt like he belonged, and he hit for the cycle. I'm like, this guy's incredible. But it was just that sense of belonging, and the confidence level is just through the roof with those guys. So that's something I wish I had. And if you guys can, even if you have to fake it, be confident as you can.
That's a great point. I don't really know if I have any tips as far as like if you are that over analytical. I wasn't super analytical in there. Like I didn't really get too tough on myself or too high with myself. I had a coach early on in pro ball that said, "Don't let your highs get too high or your lows get too low," and that always stuck with me. So it's like trying to stay even keel. And I feel like baseball players do that just because it's such a high success rate of failure. Like you have to be a good failure if you're going to be a baseball player.
Yes.
Don't let your highs get too high or lows get too low, and stay dumb out there, will you? Because it might work for you. Got anything else?
That's it.
Got anything else? We'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.